This is the Pawsible Care for Dogs. The podcast begins.
Welcome to a new episode of the Pawsible Care for Dogs podcast.
Great to be here.
In today's episode, we're doing a deep dive into Clumber Spaniel Health, essential best practices for a happy and healthy life.
Ah, the Clumber Spaniel. Such a wonderful breed.
Right.
Really gentle, quite laid back, but with this surprisingly sturdy build and just a truly sweet nature.
Absolutely. So providing them with the best possible care, well, it feels essential.
It really is. You want to do right by them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our mission for this deep dive is to, extract the most important information from the article we looked at.
Mm-hmm.
We want to help you provide optimal care for your Clumber Spaniel, or maybe just help you understand the breed a bit better.
Sounds good. And I think a sensible place to start often is understanding the potential health issues, being proactive.
Definitely. Knowing what could happen helps you watch out for it.
Right.
So the article first mentions hip and elbow dysplasia.
Right. Common problem in many breeds, unfortunately. It's basically when those joints don't develop quite correctly.
And for Clumbers, is it more of a concern?
It seems so. The information really stresses regular screenings and points to resources like the OFA, the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals. Their website, ovava.org, is great for this stuff.
And didn't the article mention a specific study? Something about spaniels?
Yes, exactly. A study in the Journal of Small Animal Practice. It indicated that Clumbers have one of the highest rates of hip dysplasia amongst spaniel breeds.
Wow, one of the highest. That really highlights the need for those screenings.
It really does. Early detection means you can manage it better, maybe with lifestyle changes, maybe other interventions. It improves their comfort, their mobility.
Makes sense. The build, maybe historical breeding, could play a part.
It's definitely possible, yeah. Worth considering.
Okay, another thing mentioned is IVDD, intervertebral disc disease.
Ah, yes.
I usually think of dachshunds for that. Why Clumbers? They seem pretty solid.
That's a common association, but Clumbers, despite looking robust, actually have quite long backs relative to their legs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and that conformation puts extra stress on those discs between the vertebrae, makes them more prone to injury or degeneration.
So the advice about not letting them jump down from heights.
Exactly. That's a really practical tip. Minimize that jarring impact on the spine.
Got it. Then there's entropion. That's an eye issue, right?
Correct. Entropion is where the eyelid, usually the lower one, sort of rolls inward.
Ouch. So the lashes rub on the eye.
Precisely. Lashes, sometimes even skin, rubbing right on the cornea causes irritation, discomfort.
And potentially worse problems if you don't catch it.
Definitely. Corneal damage is a risk. So regular eye checks are key for catching it early, often needs a surgical fix.
Okay. And the last big one mentioned is ear infections. Very common, sadly.
Very common for lots of dogs, and Clumbers seem particularly susceptible.
Those big, heavy, floppy ears, I assume.
That's the main factor. They cover the ear canal, trap moisture, reduce airflow. It just creates this warm, damp environment where bacteria and yeast can really thrive.
Makes sense. So routine cleaning is a must. The AKC site mentions this too, right?
Yes, the American Kennel Club, akc.org, emphasizes it. Consistent, thorough ear cleaning is fundamental preventative care for them.
Okay, so we've covered some key health vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears to something owners have more daily control over: nutrition.
Absolutely fundamental. A good diet is crucial for any dog, but maybe even more so for Clumbers, given their tendency towards obesity and how that impacts their joints.
Right, the dysplasia risk again. So what's the general guidance on food?
The baseline recommendation is about 2 to 3 cups of a high-quality dog food per day, and importantly, split into 2 meals.
2 meals, okay. Not just one big one.
Better for digestion and maybe helps manage hunger. But, individual needs vary: age, activity level, metabolism.
Sure. And supplements. Omega-3s and joint support nutrients were mentioned.
Yeah, omega-3s are good for their anti-inflammatory properties, could help with joint health, overall wellness.
Especially with those joint risks we talked about.
Exactly. And things like glucosamine and chondroitin, they're often discussed for cartilage health. Again, relevant for dysplasia risk. Always best to chat with your vet about supplements, though.
Good point. And the article really hammered home keeping them lean. It mentioned the Purina lifespan study.
Oh yeah, a landmark study. Really showed the huge benefits of maintaining a lean body condition. Longer lifespan, yes, but also fewer or less severe joint issues.
So for Clumbers, keeping that weight down isn't just cosmetic.
Not at all. It's critical health management. It directly impacts their joint health and how active they can be for how long.
Really important takeaway. Okay, what about exercise? They look sturdy, but the advice seemed moderate.
That's right. They have stamina for like a good walk, but high impact stuff isn't ideal. Again, think about the joints and that longer back.
So what's a good amount?
The suggestion is around 45 to 60 minutes daily. Think gentle walks, maybe some playtime. Consistency is key rather than, intense weekend warrior stuff.
And not just physical exercise, mental stimulation too.
Absolutely vital. Keeps their minds sharp, prevents boredom, things like food puzzles, scent games. They love that stuff.
Taps into their hound background.
Exactly. The Spruce Pet site has some good ideas for that too. It really engages them.
Okay, food, exercise. What about that coat? It's beautiful, but looks like work.
It is dense, yeah. Requires regular grooming to stop mats from forming. Brushing at least twice a week is pretty essential.
Twice a week. Okay, and baths.
Maybe every 6 to 8 weeks. Or, whenever they get particularly grubby.
And back to the ears again.
Yep. Weekly ear cleaning needs to be part of that grooming routine. Non-negotiable, really.
And teeth brushing, like for all dogs.
Don't forget the teeth. Regular brushing prevents dental problems down the line.
Okay, this feels like a good moment. If you're finding this deep dive useful, maybe hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
Good idea. So we've covered daily care. What about the vet?
Right, professional care. Annual checkups are crucial, obviously. Keep vaccines and parasite prevention current.
Standard practice, but for Clumbers specifically.
The recommendation is to be proactive with those screenings we discussed earlier. Regular checks for hips, elbows, eyes like for entropion, and keeping an eye on their spine.
That proactive approach again, catching things early.
Exactly. It seems to be the theme. And there were a few other Clumber-specific tips, too.
Yeah, like reinforcing the point about avoiding strenuous activity, high jumps, protecting that back.
Makes total sense. And the bit about early training and socialization.
So important. Helps them grow into calm, confident dogs. They handle new situations, people, other animals much better.
And they respond well to positive methods, right?
Oh, definitely. They love their families. They want to please. Gentle, positive reinforcement works wonders. They really thrive on that connection.
So wrapping this all up, what's the main message for someone loving or considering a Clumber?
I think it's that, yes, they have specific health considerations, but with mindful care. The right diet, appropriate exercise, good grooming, proactive vet visits, including those screenings, they can absolutely live wonderful, happy, healthy lives.
It's about being informed and proactive for their specific needs.
Precisely. Understanding the breed lets you give them the best shot at a great life. It's a responsibility, but a rewarding one.
Fantastic summary. It sounds like they make wonderful companions if you're prepared to offer that specific care.
They really do.
Well, we'd love to hear from you listeners. Let us know your comments with your thoughts, questions, suggestions, experiences, especially about Clumber Spaniel Health.
Yeah, share your insights.
Have a beautiful day. Take care of your lovely doggies, and we see you on the next one.